Is having financial freedom as an OFW posible ba? Posible ba na nasa abroad ka at makabalik ng Pilipinas with funds and savings and investments? Panoorin natin yung video nito. Kausap natin ang isang OFW na umuwi from Dubai for 12 years because nakakuha ng savings, investments that enabled her and her family para makauwi and living comfortably in the Philippines. Po, panoorin mo yung video na to. You budget for the things that you like. Kasi minsan, gusto ko yung ganito, wala namang problema dyan.
Yes.
Pero pag ipunan mo, minsan kasi, nawawala yung ipon part, nandun lang yung gusto. But again, depende kasi on what you value eh. Ano bang gusto mo? Mabaon sa utang just to satisfy your feeling? Or impress the people who don't even care about you? Diba? So, it's good that at least we stick to our budget. Kung may gusto, walang problema, budgetan nyo. And sometimes, pag kami napag-ipunan nga tayong gamit pay, di ba? Pag kami budget ka na, darating na sa point, maybe after 6 months, you have the capacity to pay for it. Ayaw mo na. Ayaw mo na.
That's true. Yeah, ayaw ko na. Ayaw ko na. I'll find something else. Yeah. I agree. Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
And also, I think, for the OFWs, because I really feel when we had the nonprofit, the social club, and also when we started the events company now, we were mingling with a lot of Filipinos. A lot of lessons I learned from them, their personal experiences. And one lesson that I learned from them is, it's not really how much you earn, but how much you save. I have met a lot of people who were on the higher, higher level of, earning potential talaga nila. They were earning very high, but they were full of debts. And then I've also met a lot of Filipinos who were earning enough, but they were able to buy farms, they were able to build a house for their family. So it's not really about yung conviction na yun na it's not how much you earn, but how much you save, how diligent you are. I also met people who were earning so much and they made use of that money na, again, they were able to expand their wealth also. So, again, it's all about discipline. And for OFWs also, bago tayo umalis, bago ako umalis, may pangarap ako. I think most Filipinos, when they leave the Philippines, they have dreams. Siguro yung iba, gusto kong mapatayuan ng bahay yung asawa ko, or mapag-aral yung mga kapatid ko, or gusto kong mapag-aral yung mga anak ko, or maipagamot si mama or si papa, diba? So we all have dreams, and let's just continue remembering our dreams. Sometimes nakakalimutan na natin kasi we start, earning a lot, and then you start meeting new people, places to go, look, like very appealing na mag-travel abroad, magbakasyon, yung ganun. So let's keep on remembering our dreams. And I think, hopefully, remembering our dreams would keep us on track as to what we really want, or why we're abroad anyway, or why are we away from our families anyway. Hopefully that helps to remember our dreams, kasi minsan, nakakalimutan natin.
Yeah. Minsan kasi sa sobrang kabisihan, or you just lose the vision why you are in abroad, nawawala yung dream. That's why ang ganda ng reminder mo na to just go back to your dream and to know the reason bakit ka nga nandyan.
Yeah.
Kung saan ka linagay. Yeah. And speaking of, you were an OFW for 12 years. Linagay ka doon ni Lord for 12 years. And ang galing nung ginawa mo. You were disciplined. Pero if I may ask din, kasi hindi naman siya lagi sunny days. Sabi mo nga, may rainy days. What's an obstacle or greatest challenge mo doon as an OFW, balikan lang natin yung life mo noon. Ano yung greatest obstacle mo noon, and how were you able to overcome it? Kasi baka yung pinagdaanan mo noon, a lot of OFWs can relate. Baka yun yung pinagdadaanan nila ngayon.
Yes. Siguro one lesson that I also learned, and I pay a very high tuition fee also, is, like it's easy when you're an OFW and you get a good salary and you're paid well. So say, for example, you're already at the stage wherein you're budgeting. For example, in my case, I've been allocating, certain categories and I had an investment fund. So may investment fund kami ng asawa ko. And then, kasi may pera ka na, one thing that I really learned from is, pag may mga investments na ino-offer sa'yo. There were, I think, two occasions where we invested on something and it did not go well. There was another investment again that we didn't that we took and then it didn't go well. And when I look back, I think lessons I got from there is if you're going to invest, make sure kasi minsan may pera ka na ang dali pakawalan, right? Sa akin, I'm happy that that money was simply allocated for investment. I didn't touch anything. Pero nung time na yon, it was a significant amount and I realized that if you're going to invest, you have to know what you're getting into. You really have to do the work kasi minsan ang bilis lang pakawala ng pera pag meron ka na. So make sure you know what you're getting into, you know the risks and the rewards. Make sure that the rewards are higher than the risk. And also, kung mag-i-invest kayo ng pera, make sure that the person that you're investing it to has a track record already of success rates. Just because the person is a good employee does not mean that that person is going to be a good businessman. So if for example you're going to invest on a person, take a look. Halimbawa, may sakit yung ngipin mo, pupunta ka sa dentista, hindi ka pupunta sa isang heart surgeon, 'di ba? So investment is like that also. If someone's offering you an investment, look into the history, look into the track record. That's one thing that I learned. Second, also that I learned is look at the figures. Make sure that you understand the numbers. Make sure you understand the business. Don't just invest because they presented you with very lucrative numbers. No, make sure you understand the business. Because if you don't understand the business, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. So those two lessons that I learned. One, look into kung sino man, kung mag-i-invest ka, you enter into a business, make sure you know that there's a track record there. Don't just dive in a pool not knowing how deep that pool is and you don't know how to swim. Second, it is also looking at really getting, be familiar with the business that you're getting into. Do proper research, do your due diligence to ensure that you understand the business. Para if it goes well, you will understand why it goes well. If it does not go well, you know that it does not go well. And then a bonus lesson also was again, risk and reward. Make sure if ever you're going to enter into an investment, make sure that the rewards are higher than the risk. Because there will always be a lot of opportunities. Because again, there's that FOMO. Lalo pag may pera ka na, there's that FOMO na if I don't invest now, I might lose. Or maybe everyone's gonna make it and I'm not gonna make it, diba? So there's that FOMO. That's again self-talk. There will always be a lot of opportunities. Make sure that you have made a calculated risk, calculated decision. Para, again, when you know that it didn't go well, you're aware. Okay, I knew the risk naman eh. Diba? You won't be saying na, okay, what did I do? Why did I not think? So those were lessons that I learned and it was a hefty amount of, tuition fee for me to learn it. But I made sure that was never going to happen again. So yeah, that's a lesson I carry with me up until now, Neil. Up until now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuition fee natin yun, yung mga kamalian.
Yes.
And thank you for being vulnerable in sharing that. Kasi syempre, masakit din, di ba, may mga kababayan tayo na dahil nga may extra money and someone they think are magaling or they can trust, biglang binibigay na walang due diligence. Meron ka bang like filter na, kasi syempre when we invest, hindi naman guaranteed kikita o hindi, right? Syempre may track record and all. Pero syempre may another side of investment na outright scam. Di ba? Kasi marami din tayong mga kababayan na nadadali sa ganyan. Meron ka bang filter para at least, ito scam to. Kasi it's good that you consider investment, pero syempre may mga red flags na. Meron ka bang mga ganon para mabigay sa ating mga kababayan para yung hard-earned money nila hindi masunog sa scam?
Yes. I remember if it's too good to be true, it probably is. When they start presenting to you different aspects, though, like for example, real estate, that's different. They have different issues there. Real estate is different. There's also stock market. There's also crowdfunding. There are different kinds of investment vehicles. But in general, if somebody offers you a business, business idea, if the returns are so high, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. For example, if it's more than usually pag 10% alarming na sa akin yan. Pag 10% bago pa lang, parang 10% up, then that would 10%, 15%, 20%. That's already an alarm for me nga. Wow, that's a good number already. So what made you come up to that number? So it's usually I listen to the figure first, and then after that I look into the nagba-background check na ako. I look at the individual, right? Just because you're a friend does not guarantee that I will invest on you. So I really am very crucial. So bali sa investment, no emotions. I'm very logical and very objective na whether you're a friend, a family member, or someone I just met, or someone who was referred to, I look into the background like, what's your track record, right? So again, what's your figures, what's your track record, and at the same time, what are the examples that you can show to me that it's actually a good one? And then I look at the numbers. Tinitignan ko yung numbers. And this is the reason why I say, I used to not love math. But then eventually pala, life skill pala, na kailangan natin, we really have to love numbers. Because again, makikita mo how they present their financial projection, how they're able to provide you with a number na, okay, kikita ka ng ganito. You have to look into it. Hindi siya parang dapat na terms and conditions na hindi mo babasahin sa isang kontrata. When it comes to the figures, you really have to look into it. Team, you look at the team also. Sino ba yung magdadala nito? Ano ba qualifications nila? Do they have the track record as well? You really have to look at. Parang foundation. It's the fundamentals you really have to look into. Parang sa stock market, you have to also do fundamental analysis na if this is worth it. Ayun.
Yeah. Ang ganda, ang daming tips nun. And yung ano talaga pagka-scam is yung too good to be true. Yung mga guaranteed, 20%, 15% guaranteed, wala kang gagawin. Pagka ganun, tatakbo ka na.
Takbo ka na. Oh, guarantee. Oh, that word also when they tell you, it's a guaranteed na return. Ako, takbo ka na yan. Takbo ka na talaga. Kasi, even like the big companies, they can't guarantee you a specific amount. So, pag may nag-guarantee na sa'yo, takbo ka na. And also, Neil, if I'll go back to what I said earlier about budgeting, kasi yung sa learnings ko when it came to investing, I'm very happy as well na when we lost those two investments, we weren't as if affected talaga because we allocated a specific amount for our investment fund. This is why I'll go back as to why it is important to really budget and be as specific as you can when it comes to budgeting. Because even though we lost the amount of money, that was money that we knew we could lose. Na makakatulog pa rin kami sa gabi. Because we know that meron pa our emergency fund are covered, our retirement fund is okay, our educational fund for our future child was okay. So at least it wasn't as impactful. It wasn't really as as depressing as it would have been if kumuha kami lahat. Kung wala kaming budget, kinuha namin and then ininvest. Imagine if we lost that amount of money. I think that would have been very hard. So I'd go back again to basics. I'd go back to foundation. Make sure that your budget is really as defined and as structured as possible. Para, for example, kung may, kung may investment ka, yun lang talaga ang gagalawin mo. Same as kung mag-holiday ka, since may holiday fund ka, you know that you're only gonna spend that. Kung ubos na, alam mo nang wala ka nang gagastusin. But pagbalik mo, alam mo na meron ka pang investment fund, meron ka pang emergency fund, or for example, tuition fund for your kids, you know that you are well covered. So it's really about covering your bases also. Ayun.
Yeah, that's a good reminder where if you have investments, make sure that's money that you're willing to lose. Hindi ito yung cash flow mo na pambayad ng rent at Meralco. Kasi when it fail, patay ka So, yeah. So, thank you, May, for sharing that. Siguro, last question dun sa buhay mo nung OFW ka sa Dubai ng 12 years. Were there any financial milestones that you can share that it paved the way for you to go back here? Kasi syempre, given Dubai, it's a powerhouse, di ba? Like, yung opportunities, economies, pero any financial milestones that you achieved during that time?
I'll go back to what I said again earlier. very simple. You know, what I do, it's very simple. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's very simple. It's very basic. I'll go back to, it's an accumulation of the little decisions that I made, the little decisions that became habits for me and my husband that eventually paid off. Because again, as I said, when we got married, the first month, we were already plotting what we were saving for and what our priorities are going to be. So it wasn't really na, oy, may isang malaking bonus that changed our ano. It was never like that because, it was the habits that we did, that really translated even for the 12 years. Kasi for example, I said earlier about sowing and reaping. When we built our budget, when we built our budget and we stuck to it, now we were disciplined in really putting specific amounts every month. It just, at the end of 12 years, we looked at our budget and we said, you know what, I think, yeah, we can go home. It was like that. I think it's really an accumulation of the things that we did, the savings that we did, the investments that we did. When we just said, I think, this was our goal. We hit our goal. We're ready. We're ready to go home. So it was an easy decision na for us.
Yeah. I like what you pointed out. It's not like a one-time, big-time thing na, nanalo ko sa loto, makakauwi tayo, or nakabonus ako ng 2 million. Hindi. But it's really what you have planned, what you have budgeted, daily decisions of setting aside money, and then dumating na yung time. So, okay, pwede tayong umuwi. Retire young, retire rich. Yung mga ganong mga moves. So, yun. I'm just really happy for your story kay Nitep and the lessons that you're sharing with us. So, when you were in Dubai, amazing things happened to you there. But now, ngayon, nasa Pilipinas ka. So, ngayon, let's discuss na yung story ninyo ng nasa Pilipinas. So, how is it so far as you transition sa Pilipinas? Kamusta ba yung fulfillment sa bahay? Or kamusta yung pagiging donya mo sa bukid nun?
How I wish Donya. Wala akong helper dito. Wala kaming kasambahay. No? How I wish Donya. Neil, before I answer that question, for the OFWs who are watching, minsan kasi we have the okay, if I earn something big, it will be better. Or siguro pag nagka-bonus ako, it will be better. And to our ates right there, our kababayans out there, and you're watching, it's all about the decisions we make every day. So it's about the decisions we make. What we plant, we reap. What we sow, we reap. So yung decisions po natin, kuya, ate, na kung ano po yung pinag-iipunan natin ngayon, eventually it will come. It's not gonna be, siguro we are blessed and it doesn't happen to everyone na merong malaking bonus or nanalo ng isang raffle sa Dubai na alam mong makaka-retire ka na. It's not always the case. So, but it's the decision that we make every day. So kaya sinasabi ko po, let's remember our dream. Isipin po natin yung dream natin. Because again, it's the decision, the small decisions that we make. So pag nag-ipon po tayo ngayon, after 10 years, after 20 years, o kung kailan nyo gustong magstay abroad, masasabi nyo na ako, actually ready na ako. I've been ready since 15 years, pero nasa abroad pa rin ako kasi gusto kong magtrabaho pa rin sa abroad. But it's not because necessary or kailangan talaga, but nag-i-enjoy ako kaya nandito pa ako. So that would be a very good feeling. So very small decision. So save, budget, make sure natutukan po yung budget natin because again, it will define, it will be the structure. Para nga pong siyang engineer, 'di ba? Or parang architect or parang nagbi-build po tayo ng building. The deeper our foundation is, the higher the building that we can build. So just make sure that your foundation is strong and it all goes down to budgeting. Yan. Ayun. So, yung question mo, pasensya. I just had to say that. But again, with regards to our transition here, it's a slow life. Very slow life, Neil. Our life is very slow as opposed to the life that we had in Dubai na work dito, do this, do that. So it's very slow. But what's fulfilling is for me as a flight attendant, back then I would, fly for 8 days. Wala ako sa bahay for 8 days. Or minsan nawawala ako ng 8 days, day off 2 days, tapos mawawala na naman ng 5 days. So now appreciate the luxury of time. I get to be with my son every morning when he wakes up. Before he goes to bed, I get to see him. I get to be with him. So that's luxury. I get to be with my husband also. Also, low cost of living, way cheaper than than Dubai for sure. There's fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. Ang lapit ko lang sa palengke. So, those are the fulfillment. And most importantly, it's the memories that I get to make with my family. And I think ito din yung lesson ko, Neil, na yes, I'm very conscious when it comes to numbers. I'm very conscious, but I know that it's not the most important thing. It's not the destination for me or for my husband for that matter. It's not really na we want X number of million and we're happy. No. It's just a means of attaining a sustainable lifestyle, comfortable lifestyle. But what matters to us more than money also is really investing on memories with my siblings, for example, with my parents, for my son to experience the joy of having grandparents, creating memories with them. And so that's something that I will not trade, and something that I find very fulfilling. Although earnings in Dubai are definitely higher for sure, because back then it was my husband and I who were working. Now when I came back, my husband and I spoke na, okay, I'm not gonna work. I'm gonna focus on becoming a mother. So it's my husband now lang ang nagtatrabaho. He does NFT and cryptocurrency. So it's also lucrative, but it's different kasi ako sanay ako na I was always out, I was always doing something. But then again, it's the conscious choice. Now what do I want? It's the phase of my life now that I wanted to be a mother. This is my phase now. I'm gonna live it, I'm gonna enjoy it. Is there a time, especially for the OFWs now na umuwi, or planong umuwi and are thinking to become, a full-time mother? Will there be times that you will feel na, am I still making sense? Am I still making value? Am I still giving value to the world? Kasi feeling ko nasa bahay na lang ako palagi. It does come to mind. But then again, I combat that with a self-talk na, all of us in our lives will always have seasons. There's seasons of, working. There's a season to, become a mother, season of, whatever, becoming a husband or whatever. So it's just really knowing your season, accepting that, and being grateful that you are given the chance to live that season. So, ayun.
That's right. Yung sa seasons, napaka-importante that not just you identify the season, but you will be grateful dun sa season na yon. And ano talaga you need to have the perspective na it's not just about money. Like you invest in memories with your family, with your kids, having the flexibility that whatever happens, pwede mong puntahan yung anak mo or mag-date kayo ni Tep. It's something that sometimes money cannot buy. And yun yung priority mo. Kaya yun yung, kumbaga, a luxury in a way na people would want to have if, yun nga, they have that setup. Pero it's something that we can aspire for.